Welcome back, CSC 235, to ex2 date output. And we didn't do any date output yet, but we're going to do that now. So some of this stuff you don't really need right now, so you could even get rid of it. And I'm going to get rid of it right now. And output methods, you could leave this here if you want. We're going to change this a little bit. I'm even going to leave this PID demo here because that way it's there and we can output stuff as we need. And we'll leave the output methods there in our JavaScript for now so that we can kind of see the different ways it comes out. But then we can get rid of them. We don't have to have them there. We could comment them out, whatever. So let's talk about the date method. There's a date reference that I mentioned, and there's a constructor where you can basically kind of call the date object, and it makes this kind of full date. And let's just do that first. Let's go to the constructor here, and this is what they do. Construct, and they're taking the date object, just like you can get a math object and do stuff with that. So let's just go to the first one here. That's the date. It's printing out the date. It's using inner HTML here, and it's printing out this long kind of date object. And what we're going to do is we're going to extract parts of this. And this is today's date, so whatever date you're working on it will be the live date. So we're going to extract parts of this from it. But basically, that's how you construct it with new date, and you make a variable equal to new date. So let's do that. Let's kind of go here, and we'll talk about the constructor. We don't want to just print out the constructor. We want to see the actual number. So these are methods that we're going to use to get the date, which is the day of the week, or the date number. I get confused with these. The date is basically the number. Like, what's today's date? It's the 14th, so that would be the 14th. The day would be whatever today is, Thursday. Full year 2023, and the hours and so on. So we're going to do that, and even work with time a little bit. I used to do a thing where we worked with running pace and all that. It gets a little confusing, but if you like math, it's a good challenge. So let's go back to Replit. And I guess I'll keep this open for now. You don't have to have a tab. We can preview things right here because we just have little bits of stuff. We're not doing layouts or anything. But what we'll do is we'll do const, since the date isn't going to change. So we'll do const. So that's declaring a variable. And we don't have to do that in Python, but in JavaScript we do. We have to kind of give it kind of a name, just like a function or something like that. So we'll say const, and we'll say d. We'll just use d again, and equals new, and then we use the date object with a capital D, just like turtles use that in Python. So, and we'll also use the parentheses, and we'll put a semicolon. Get in the habit of always doing that. So we have this right now. Now let's print it out. Let's see what that is. I'll put D here, and I'll put D here instead of what we did have. And I'll put D here and see what comes out. We'll just see what happens here. So 3 output methods of printing out the date. And I'll hit run. And there's the full date in the alert. That's the alert down there. And there's the full date. And down here, it's not doing the full alert. So in the console log, it doesn't like just printing it out. It's just putting the date constructor. It's not putting it as a string. There is something you could do in here. And I'll just make a new variable here. And I'll just put let, since I'm changing it. I'll put let, and I'll put ds, because it'll be date string. And I'll put equals d, because that's referring to that date. And I'll put to date string. Now this should be coming up, but it's not. It should be coming up right here. I'm not sure why it's not coming up. Let ds equal d to date string. Let's see what this does. It's doing nothing. Why? Because I didn't put it here. I didn't put console log ds. So I'm only putting the date string here. Let's see what happens. So it's doing a shortened version of toDateString. I think there's also a toString. Let's run that. And again, the other ones aren't changing. Alert's not changing. That's not changing. There's the full date. But when you do toDateString, it's actually putting the date string. So if we wanted to do them for all of them, I'll put toDateString. I'll just put ds for all of these. But notice that the console log didn't like just converting it to a string. We'll put ds here. And now it's putting that, and now it's putting that, and now it's putting that. So that's just outputting date as a string. You could pull elements from that. So for example, let me close this up. I'll go here. get date, you can get the date, you can get the day. So let's just put out a string that says today is September 14th and with the full year. Today is Thursday, September 14th. So we have a couple things going on there. We have the day of the week, which is day. We have the month, which there's month. And then we have the date, which is the 14th. And then we'll put the year, which is full year. So we're going to do all that. So we have these methods down here that we'll use. So let's try that. We'll just jump ahead here instead of doing this. And we'll just put something down here. And we'll make a let OS, like output string, equals. And we'll put in quotes, today is, and I'll put a space, and then I'll put plus. Now, that's going to concatenate. We have to keep strings separate. So instead of using F strings, they do have something new in JavaScript that actually works like an F string in Python. But for now, we're just going to concatenate. So what are we going to concatenate? Well, we want to put September. We want to put today is the day. So let's do a couple things here. Let's just kind of comment this all out. I'm just going to comment this stuff out. Don't need to use that right now, but we can copy it and use it so we can use the demo. But that way, you still have record of the work that you're doing. Let me make sure I don't wipe it out. So what I'm going to do first is get the day of the week. Day of the week is get day. So let day, you can just call it day and d.getDay. So it's getting it from there. Try it yourself here. There, just getting it from the day of the week. And it's putting a 4. Okay, so that's an issue. Well, we'll work with that. So it's the 4th day of the week. So why doesn't it say Thursday or whatever? Well, it doesn't know that, so that's going to be an issue. So let's just work with that for now. That's okay. It goes from 0 to 6, and 4 would be a Thursday. 0 would be Sunday. I believe it starts on Sunday. I always think the day of the week starts on Monday, but so it's going to do that. But let's do that. Let's say let day equal, and we'll do it'll be d.getDay. We're going to use the method now because it's getting day from date, and date is equal to that. So d is date. So it would just be like typing out date parentheses dot get day. So we're going to do that. So day equals get day, which is going to be 4. And it's not outputting anywhere yet. But let's do a couple things. That's the day. Now let's do the month. And let's just say, let's call it month. Why not? And it'll be d.getMonth. Now, if you're not sure, just go back here. Get month. And let's just check it out, what it does. 0 to 11. So I guess it's going to be 9 or 8 or something. But if January is 0, I guess if it's September, it's going to be 8. So we'll have to deal with that. Let's go back. We're going to have month there. So we got our day, we got our month, and we got date. So we can just copy this, or you could just type let date equal d.getDate. Now the getDate method is not the same as the date object, just so you know. And now we have that, and then we'll do full year. We'll just call it year equals d.getYear. All right, we got those 4 things. Okay, so we're going to put them all together. Ready? See how cool this is. Plus day, plus month, plus date, plus year, semicolon. Now, how cool is this going to be? This will look awesome. and you could even do plus and then put quotes and put a period in there. You could have a period at the end. Now, this is going to look really cool, except one thing, we don't have spaces in here. So we have some issues here to deal with. And obviously, some of these things are going to show up as numbers. So we need to output it. So let's just output it just using our inner HTML. Let's open this up here. And we'll put it in our demo, and we'll just put OS. Now, will we have any problem because we have this down here and that up there? Well, let's see. We'll find out. Does that have to be after that? Do we have to declare these variables first and then, we'll be able to jump around and do all that? Let's find out. So we're not outputting to the console, although you can. If you want to output to the console, you could put OS output string. That's what that meant. I don't know if that's a great great variable, but that's the output string, so we don't have to put strings when we output it. So anyway, let's run it. Cannot access OS before initialization. Oh, okay. So it is giving us an error here because, yes, we can't do that. So let's take this stuff, the output, and put it after all this stuff. Just cut it. So we got to declare all our variables first, and then before we output them, put them at the end. Okay, let's see if that helps. Today is 4/8/14/23. So it's putting just 23. It's not putting 2023. Oh, I should put full year. I think it's full year. Let's run that. It'll look a little better. Okay, 2023. So it's 4 is the day of the week, which is Thursday. And then 8, which is the month, which is September. And then there's 14. And we don't have commas in there. We don't have any of that. But we're actually outputting it correctly. This is right. Now, how would we get those days of the week? Well, what do they say here? We'll go back here, and here they're actually making an array from here so that it's actually just getting that using the array. Now, you can set up something where those numbers equal variables. You can do it as an array, or you can actually set up variables. Let's just try it. Let's do one thing. Let's try it, and then we'll take a break. We'll go here, and we could try something like this. There's different ways to do it, but let's just use something that we probably are familiar with already. We'll say if. We'll use an if statement, and we'll make a condition. We'll say if day equals 0, then, and we'll just use curly braces. We'll say day equals, I don't know if we have to use let again. If it's 0, it equals Sunday. And let's just try this. If day equals 4, which is today, I'll say day equals, and I'll put in Thursday, because that's today. Just save some time right now, just to see if it works. And I'll do that. And if not, it'll just bypass it, I believe. So let's see if this changes it to Thursday. It should say Thursday, and then we can do Thursday, maybe a space. You can put a space in there. Let's run this. Today is Thursday. That worked. Now, you could do this. You could do else if, and in Python use else if. Okay, so that's part of the else if. Then what happens is going to be here. So I'll just copy that and put it here. So we have our conditions here. Day equals 0, day equals 1. Else if is still a condition, so we're just going to keep doing that. And day equals Monday, I believe. And then I'll just keep copying the else if part. Seems like a lot of work here. That's why they use an array, and they just pull the index number from the array, because index will start at 0. So that'll be a conversion right there. So you could just use the array. We'll do that next, but we'll try this out as a logical kind of step. We only have 7 days of the week here, so it shouldn't be too bad. Again, I'm just copying these. Now I have to update these. So Saturday, 1, 2, 3, 4 is Thursday, 5 is Friday, and 6 is Saturday, and we already have 0 for Sunday. So it should plug these in. Now we're not going to see it. It's still going to say, wait, today's Monday. I don't know why it's saying today's Monday. If day equals 0. All right, now you know what I did wrong, and it wasn't this. I was like, oh, maybe I need let here. What did I do wrong? This, my operator. Remember, that's the equals operator. That's assignment operator. But if I want equality, I need this. Remember, equality. See, I'm rusty here. I'm making mistakes, but hopefully you're picking them up and saying, what the hell are you doing? But it's okay. You know what? That's how you get unrusty. You make some mistakes. You make some errors. You throw some interceptions, and you get back on track. So I was not using the proper evaluator here. I was using equals, which is an assignment operator. I was not using the equality operator, which is the double equals. Now let's see if that works. Okay, got it to work. I had putting let in there screwed it up as well. So we're not putting let in there. We're just redefining our variable by just saying day equals. So that worked out okay. So the mistakes I had, I didn't have my double equals in there. And also then I put let in here for every single one, which seemed to not let it work nice. Let's just see if today's Thursday. Let's try to recreate that error. See if that creates a problem. See, it doesn't like that. It doesn't like using let again. So don't do that again. I was just curious if I had to do that again, but just to reassign it, just use the variable that we already have. So that's working. So now it's saying today is Thursday, but it's still saying 8, which is September. It's having the right date. Now we don't have commas. We don't have anything else in there. We'll do that in the next video. And what we'll do is try to do an array like they're doing here, because maybe that's easier, or at least easier than the time I had of doing all this. There's nothing wrong with doing this. You know, you might understand that, and you're learning how to do if-else statements, and you're learning how to make mistakes by forgetting to use the double equal sign. You could do not equal and things like that, and we're using else ifs instead of elif like you use in Python, and we're doing that before it's getting written into the string here. So we'll just finish this off in the next video. Hopefully we'll get the month, and then we'll just put in some commas and other punctuation so it shows up. Again, not very exciting, but at least a little intro here. And again, it's good loosening up kind of stuff. It's good kind of practice, because even like myself, I said I'm a little rusty, and you can see I am. I messed up that. I messed up some other things. I threw let in there because I'm used to using var all the time, and I'm used to using Python. So anyway, in our next part 3, even though we had that introductory video for ex2, this will be part 3. We'll just finish this up, and if you want to try that yourself, and then we'll give you a little challenge after that as well. But what we're going to do next is try to use an array to print out the month, so we don't have to use 8. So again, what we're doing here is just combining a final kind of string, an output string, and we're doing it to the console, and we're doing it in HTML, a demo ID, which is in our index page. So we'll come back with part 3 and finish this up by just putting the month in there.